All right, everyone, welcome back. Let's talk blades because that's what we're into. Today, I have for you a knife that I didn't really want to get, but at the same time, I really wanted to get it. So it ended up showing up. So I was really kind of stunned about this. It's kind of, I don't want to really get into what I feel about this. I have the smaller version of this, and it is the already well-known self-defense knife from Bar, the TDI. Of course, TDI stands for Tactical Defense Institute. Someone told me Tactical Defense Initiative. I don't know which one it is, to be honest with you. It just says TDI, and I know that this is a self-defense blade. You can see it right on that shield, right on that bird. It says TDI right in the middle of its chest. But anyways, if you could punch, you could basically use this as a punching implement, if need be. I like this one a lot because it's smaller, and I've already featured this on my channel, so go ahead and look that video up. If you haven't seen it already, go ahead and take a look at it. It's very similar to this, but it's upscaled to this big boy right here. And basically, I was fighting myself on getting this. It's not that much. It's about 50, I want to say about close to 50 bucks, like 48, I think. Not bad. This one was close to 40 bucks right here. So this is a small guy. This bigger one, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm not entirely sure if I'm really happy with it, but I'm not entirely sure I'm really angry with it either. I kind of like the size. It's kind of a bigger size. I'm into bigger knives anyways. I don't really like small knives, but this one kind of serves a purpose, you know? So I don't know if this is overdoing it, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm really going to be carrying this at least anytime too soon, but I am happy to have it in the collection because it is something I don't have. So the attachment to this is kind of weird. It's kind of got like, okay, it's got this attachment right here, and you got kind of like a Velcro attachment, but this Velcro attachment doesn't really seem like it's attached to much. So I don't know if they did this on purpose, so that way when you do attach it, you don't have to go through all the closures. You can just slip it through, because it's on both sides. So I think that was done on purpose. As far as durability goes, I don't know how long that'll last before it starts to, I don't know, fall apart. I mean, I like the fact that I can maneuver this in a different carry, but if I were to say, I think it would be good to have this kind of clip to it. I haven't had a problem with this clip, but then again, I haven't really carried this too often. With that being said, this is the same thing. It's just the upscaled version with a Tanto tip. So here it is. And that's a friction closer Kydex sheath right here. It's the same thing with this friction close, which is great. You just got to push your thumb on it and it releases and you just pull it right out. So here it is, Bar. It's hollow grind, AUS 8 steel. It's got the Tanto tip and the serrations to it. Bigger knife. Still same pistol grip kind of feature on there. Jimping up top, nothing in the trigger finger, and a little bit of jimping down here and right here. And you got the I think it's they call this, it's not Kraton. Man, it's like the same stuff that Cold Steel uses on their plastic. It's just a really hard, I forgot the name of it right now. I'm sure it'll come to me. But basically, it's just a really tough military plastic. It's not really overly grippy, although you do see a texture on there and you can kind of feel it. But it is pretty comfortable in the hand. You get a full grip on there, and basically the same thing applies. If you can punch with it, you can use it in easy self-defense without maneuvering too much of your already known motor skills and using a firearm, which is why this is in the shape that it's in. The idea behind it was very similar to another self-defense tool that I haven't really featured on my channel just yet, but I'm going to. I have it, I just haven't done it yet. But you know me, I love self-defense knives, so anything self-defense catches my eye, especially when it comes to something tactical, I want to say. But this is great. Of course, I'm a fan of Bar. They make some great stuff for a great price. The blade steel can be better, but at the same time, they're just good quality stuff. So, basically, with this type of knife, it's very purpose driven. Anyways, let's go into the specs. I'm kind of blabbering on around here. So I'm going to weigh it with the sheath and without the sheath, so you guys have a good idea of how much this thing weighs. So here it is. TDI Law Enforcement, I think is what they like to call it. Comes in at a, now you guys can barely see that. It's kind of not all that great. So it comes in at a 9.10 ounces. It's a pretty heavy deal. And of course, here's the smaller guy. We'll see how much that comes out to. 5.06. So there's a big difference. If you're trying to get the smaller one, I think this would be good. It's not so obtrusive. It's not going to really be sticking out so much, but it is a decent self-defense blade. And it is a little bit small. It is. But at least this doesn't get in the way of stuff, you know? So I think that's why I like this one more. It's a little bit more practical to me. This seems a little overkill, but I don't know if that's just the gimmick of the whole thing. For people who don't like small knives, here's a big one, you know? I don't know. So we'll go ahead and get... Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to weigh just the blade. See? Forgetting stuff here. All right. So we'll go ahead and weigh the blade itself. So it comes out at a 6.55 ounces. So yeah, pretty hefty big bunch right there. So the blade length and handle length, I'm going to have to do a couple of weird measurements because it's at that crescent kind of shape. So the blade length right now is, yeah, it's about, well, judging from here, it looks like it's about a 4-inch blade. The cutting edge comes out to about 3 1/4. But it's still, you got a 4-inch reach on a blade like this, just at an angle. At least, you know, ending here anyways, right here, which is still pretty good. Handle length, you're looking at a 4 and almost 5 inches, but 4 3/4 inch on the handle. Now I'm just going to do just one weird kind of measurement at a triangle end right here. So you're looking at a 7.5 just from here to here. So I don't know if that's makes any difference, but there's that. So now if I just take out my EDC on this, so you guys have a size comparison of how big this knife actually is compared to the little guy. So I'll take out the little guy and just kind of put it here beside it. So here they are. So you can see that this one dwarfs this one. So if I were to take out my my EDC that I'm carrying right now, my everyday carry knife. Now right now I'm carrying my Spyderco Canis self-defense. So here's that. And that's just a comparison on how that looks. So I'm gonna pan the camera up so you guys can see that. So yeah, I mean it's to me, in my opinion, it's a pretty big knife. Now, are you willing to carry that? That's the question. Whether or not that's something for you, if you're law enforcement or EMT, I would probably go something a little bit smaller, only because your utility belt's going to already have a bunch of other stuff. You know, you got your taser, your pepper spray, and your service firearm. So having this humongo thing, I guess, is just on preference. If you really do want it, then yeah, sure, keep this on you. But I find this to be just a little less in the way of things, because the handle's not as big, the blade's not as big, and it's straight to the point. If you really need to use this is your back-off weapon, then yeah, you can slash with it, you could push with it, you can punch with it, sure. You could do the same thing with this, but it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit heavier, you know, and it's got some teeth to it, so I guess it all really depends on what you want. And then, of course, there's a Spyderco Canis, which I carry this as my everyday. So, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get into how thick things are right now. Move that little guy to the side. So the blade length, or the blade width right here, is at a 4.5 millimeters, and the handle is at a 16.3. So if I were to take the small guy, see how much of a difference that is. 2.6 on the blade and a 13.5 on the handle. So I gotta be honest with you, if you're looking for something big that you can put through really hard use, and you don't mind this sticking out of your utility belt, then sure. Or if you're just a regular person and you're backpacking, you want to molly it to you somehow, this is going to weigh you down just a little bit because it's got a little weight to it. But if that doesn't bother you, then hey, by all means. Like I said, K-Bar makes some fantastic stuff, and I'm really happy to have this in my collection. This AUS 8, I'm really familiar with the blade steel. Probably one of the first blade steels, other than 440 stainless, that I've had a pleasure starting off with my blade collection. So, big guy, little boy wonder. Just depends on how you feel, whether or not you want to be able to use it, or if it's something that you wouldn't mind carrying, then by all means. But K-Bar makes some fantastic stuff. If you have any interest in that, go ahead and look it up on Amazon. Like I said, it's about $50 for this big guy and about $10 cheaper on this little one, but that's from what I last realized. And of course, the carrying method is all on your flavor, on what taste you expect. But like I said, I actually like this one more, only because this is just a simple slide and click, and you can see that little portion right there that actually clicks to your belt. I've never had any problems trying to draw the knife, but I've heard stories about people who try to draw it and they pull out this with it. So you can always do custom sheaths somewhere and have something a little bit better made for you. But I haven't personally had a problem with this one. This one kind of makes me worry just a little bit, but it looks a little bit more secure because it's got that click. It's got those little button closures right there. So, and you got the Velcro, so that's probably good enough for like a service belt of some kind. This is probably just a regular civilian belt, because look at how small that is compared to, I don't know. Anyways, there's that. Like I said, I love the whole idea behind self-defense knives being like this. It's just something about that. I've always liked punch daggers and stuff like that. I always thought those were really cool to have. Really good and useful things to have on you if you ever need to, and pray that you don't, Anyways, I know it's trying times. So be kind, be safe, carry responsibly, and slash that like button if you like this. Stab that subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys in the next video.